Hey YouTube. So, the real truth. I mean, it's hard to say like what the real truth is when you're afraid to tell it, but coming from the area I come from, up here in New England, I'm not going to say exactly where, but we all know in New England there was a big mob family, a lot of crime. And I had worked for the city. Not going to say what town or what city, but I had worked for the city and been through a lot of things where I've seen stuff and I witnessed things and I got scared. I got scared because knowing and seeing things like that scares you because you don't know, like if they know, or if they're going to come looking for you because it's hard. So my story is about basically being aware but not wanting to be aware. So when I was growing up, my dad, he was a bookie, and he was a gambler, and I've seen. Well, he had his own room. It was called the Den back then. I know these guys know back in the day. Oh, the Den, like there's a place where you watch TV in a den, but that was his room. That was his room, and boy, I heard so much swearing and cursing and ashtrays being thrown through the TVs and oh man. So my dad had a couple of jewelry companies where he would employ people to work. I guess back in the day would be under the table. I know we all knew what under the table was. And he had a little jewelry business. And when I was a kid, I used to find these coffee cans. And I used to shake them around saying, what the hell is that? It sounds like money. I open up. They looked like quarters, but they were blank. And so one time I went to the store with my mom, and back then everybody smoked Marlboros, I guess. So I was about 8, 9 years old. Took me to the store, and she said, "Here, hold these." I was about 8, yeah, about 8, 9. You could put the coins in. I'm putting them in, but they don't look like quarters because they were nothing on the front, nothing on the back, because I knew what change looked like. Obviously, they were slugs. My dad was punching out slugs at one of the jewelry places that he had. So as a little kid, 8, 9 years old, I used to travel with my mom to put all the coins in, and she let me pull the lever, and a pack of Marlboro, a pack of Marlboro, a pack of Marlboro, a pack of Marlboro. Empty the machine. She would complain about it at first with my dad and stuff. There'd be arguments and stuff, but what he was dealing with and the people he was dealing with, I guess there was no argument to be argued. She just did what she had to do because that's what she had to do. And I would say this was in like late 60s, early 70s. So during that time, my dad was booking and, dealing with the people he was dealing with, I'm sorry. Before I forget, laundry was another thing. We'd go do the laundry, and once again, my mother would dig in that coffee can and say, "Hey, she put them in my coffee. Hey, you put them in." So I would put them in, and I just wasn't thinking like, why aren't these real? I just wasn't thinking, why ain't they real? Because today they're called slugs, as we all know, they're called slugs. So as I grew up, I'm from New England, so I guess you know who the boss was over here in New England. My father got me a little job helping take care of horses at a farm. I think I was 15 at the time, about 14, 15. So I didn't know any better. And, I'm taking care of horses, cleaning up the horse poop and, putting more hay and giving them water and giving them grain and all of that. That was my little thing on a Saturday and a Sunday. And back then we'd make between 10, 15 bucks maybe. This was in the 80s. But But there was times when I was working there and I didn't realize who was who and who my dad knew. So it was kind of like, wow. I was working with a friend of mine one day that the both of us got a little weekend job for a few hours on the weekend to go up to this particular farm and feed the horses and do our thing. And I see a black Lincoln Continental with the old suicide doors open up. There was nobody in the front seat. It was kind of funny, but there was one guy in the middle of the back seat and two other guys on the sides. Both doors would open, the suicide doors, and one big guy would get out of that side and another big guy would get on the other side. And that little guy with a little pea coat on and a hat and with a Camel cigarette in his mouth would finally get out of the car. He'd come and walk and look at his horses, and he had two up there, by the way. I would hate to say the name of them, but maybe down the line I could mention it. But he had two horses up there. And, you know, he would check them out, look at them and everything. And before he was about to leave, he'd walk over and give both me and my friend a $20 bill. I'll say, wow, $20. Man, we stay up here for hours to get $10 or $15. This guy just comes in and gives us $20. Man, I would love to say his name, but I maybe during one of my next little segments there, I might be able to tell you who this was. But it was just crazy, man. Because when I got my license, finally, when I was 16 years old, you know, my dad was still involved in working with these people. I seen this particular guy on TV, and I said, Dad, wow, that's the guy who comes up to where you got me this little job, you know, cleaning up the horse poop and feeding them grain and giving them water and stuff. He comes up there to get the horse there. Wow, he's on TV. Like, what happened? You know, I'd get the old, you know, when you were young, you guys my age, you probably all know, mind your own business. Don't worry about what other people do. You mind your own business. So I minded my own business. Yeah. But later down the line, I did find out. But that's just a little start of the story that I have to tell you guys, and where if you continue to listen, it gets better as we go along. I don't want to talk too long, but if you stay tuned, I'm going to be here again. I'm going to try to get a video up in here at least every Tuesday or Wednesday. But if you look for me and you look on it, it'll definitely be there. And you can continue to listen and to know, you know, what's going on and what happened back then. If you're interested in them old days, which I'm sure a lot of guys and girls are, believe me, I could tell you a lot, and it's going to get there. But thank you for listening to what I just said and what I had to say, and hopefully you stay tuned to my channel here and find a little bit more and enjoy yourself and listen to my story about what it's about. You know, today I just helped my friend out at a shop with cars and things like that there, and something I always like to do, so that's what I do now. And but it's very, very rainy and windy out here in New England, and very cold and very windy, and I'm sure a lot of these people that are around here know exactly what I'm talking about. But to get back to what I was saying, if you stay tuned, boy, you're gonna hear some things. So thank you guys. I appreciate you watching, and come back again. I just started. I'm going to get some certain days down packed where I'll be here every week, whether it will be a Tuesday or a Wednesday or Thursday. But for now, this is number one, and I'm going to get to that next video as soon as I can, and I know you're going to enjoy it. Thanks.